Always beating, enthusing, never cheesing or choosing. 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 Homestar! Beating, enthusing, never cheesing or choosing. Always beating, enthusing, never cheesing or choosing. Always beating, enthusing, never cheesing or choosing. Always beating, enthusing, never cheesing. Homestar!
Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of The Stick. It's everyone's favorite, completely not niche topic podcast about Homestar Runner. I'm David, aka Dump Tell No Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage.
My name is Eden, aka Litigation Jackson.
I'm Dan Silva, aka Mike Dawson, aka De La Soul, Chugga Jigga Wugga.
That's really good. Okay. Dan, you're our guest this evening. What did we bring you on to talk about?
We came on to talk about Teen Girl Squad. Yeah. Da 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 da. Da da da. So, I guess I'll start by talking about my history with Homestar Runner.
Yeah, please.
I originally started getting into it around 2006, I believe, when I believe what happened was, I was either reading some wiki article on some wiki site. It could have been regular Wikipedia, it could have been Mario Wiki, it could have been some page on memes, I don't know. But around that time I found out that Homestar Runner was a thing, and I was in middle school and I had nothing better to do, so I got into it and started really just enjoying it. It was a formative part of my life. I got way too into it into middle school to the point where I was essentially having a miniaturized version of, I think Jeff Gerstmann calls it internet toe tapping. Just being so fixated on a thing, it gets annoying to other people and then makes them like it less.
Yeah, that totally tracks. I think that Homestar was pretty much that for me as well, somewhere around 2005, 2006.
I tried to introduce almost anyone that I met, around a little bit later on, because I'm usually the youngest person in any particular Homestar discussion. But when I used to try to introduce people to it, and I feel like I probably made more enemies of Homestar Runner than fans of Homestar Runner over that period.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like there's a couple of pieces of media that are like that, you know. Mm-hmm. I recently showed a couple of Teen Girl Squad episodes to a friend of mine who's 20 and thus didn't really fall into the age group of Homestar people at the time when it would have been, I guess, age appropriate. Yeah. And so didn't really have that reference point, and she just had no idea what to make of it. I'm pretty sure the only thing she said was, "You guys are weird. Why are you showing me this?"
Yeah.
I think speaking of this, obviously Teen Girl Squad, because that's the one that we're doing today. One of the things I've been wondering about it, and I mean, we obviously have to get into the way it was introduced, but they talk about them being Teen Girl Squad. Do we ever get any idea of exactly how old the teen girls are?
I rewatched all of these an hour ago, just to make sure I had it fresh in my head, and apparently they're just ambiguously 13 to 19 years old.
Yeah, they're the teenest girls between the ages of 13 and 19.
Yeah.
Just I guess to go quickly through the origins for for people who haven't seen the Teen Girl Squad one, because it is kind of one of the more, I guess, esoteric bits of Homestar, where it has almost nothing to do with the actual show, even less than the Cheat Commandos that we did last episode.
Yeah, they started with as many other things, a strong bad email, because that's kind of the central focal point of everything on the site, it seems. And some person sent Strong Bad an email asking can you make a comic about my friends? Their names are insert 4 names here.
Virginia
Just sort of mumbles them through and forgets.
Their names are Hobbledy-Gobbledygah.
Virginia, Joy, Christian, and Jennifer, by the way.
Yeah. And that's where we get the made-up names of cheerleader, so-and-so, what's-her-face, and the ugly one.
Yeah. So, like, there's, like, the 4 teen girls have, like, these certain archetypes to them. Cheerleader's, like, the stereotypical popular girl who's, like, she looks so good, she loves every boy, etc., etc.
And all the other girls, like, look up to her and take all of her fashion tips.
Then there's so-and-so, who is, like, this sort of, like, more straightforward, like, straight-laced girl, she's more of a nerd a bit.
Yeah, I always got kind of a preppy vibe from her.
Yeah. What's-her-face is sort of like the weird, unpopular girl. She's just sort of an outlier, like, notably she doesn't wear a dress like the other ones. She's sometimes kind of gross, but not as gross as the ugly one, who is just an anomaly, who is usually incredibly disgusting, and also her dad is the owner of a broken and used electronic appliance store.
Manolio's Electropon.
Yeah, Manolio's Ugly One's Electropon. I think at one point the ugly one is introduced with just the word hygiene with a question mark.
Yeah.
That's in the first. That's in the comic one, like the first Teen Girl Squad episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
At the start of each episode, they're introduced in the same exact way. Cheerleader, so-and-so, what's-her-face, the ugly one. And as they flash by, they get some sort of, like, phrase that may or may not have to do at all with them or anything.
It usually is supposed to, like, sum up something they like or some aspect of their character. Like, let me just grab one of these off this extensive table on the wiki. Let me see. Issue 5, they talk about what swimsuits they wear. Cheerleader is 2-piece. So-and-so is 1-piece. What's-her-face is same clothes, and the ugly one is 3-piece? Question mark, double exclamation point.
Yeah. And the picture is her wearing, a bikini top and bottom, and then just a weird strip of cloth going around the middle of her torso.
Strip of cloth, that's a good band name.
Yeah, strip of cloth. Do you like cloth?
She likes cloth. They usually, like, episodes are just like them doing some normal teenager thing, but then, like, that's just through Strong Bad's weird, absurd lens, and, like, there's all these weird visual gags. Like, in the earlier episodes, they'll be, like, walking around, and then, like the sun will eat a flock of birds or something. And, like, inevitably, they all die at some point. Or most of them, usually.
Right. I definitely can relate to the random, like, doodles of things, doing weird things in the background. Like, when I was in school, I would draw stuff like that in the margins of my notes all the time when I was bored in class.
I was just going to say, like, just to give an example, like, there's one where they're walking by and the sun turns into a buzzsaw and kills all the birds flying by.
Yeah. I think you and Dan are thinking of the same one.
Yeah, and also there was this one bit where, from what I just watched, and I think the summer camp one, which would be 11, they drive, like, the 3 girls who are going to camp drive away on a bus, and, like, and there's suddenly death in the background, and Strong Bad does this forebode, and then Death takes a bite out of a hamburger.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the best things about it is just all the weird sound effects Strong Bad comes up with.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember a specific example. I think the first one I thought of was I don't remember what episode it was, but there's, like, a point where there's, like, a really, like, big guy, like, just rolling towards them from far away, and you hear just squished.
God. What's a good sound? Of course, there's like the iconics, like death sounds that are just a verb with "duh" at the end, like arrowed.
Yeah.
Sparrowed, a new twist on an old classic.
Wave of babies.
Oh God, wave of babies.
There's so many ways to die in this universe.
Yeah.
But I think one of our questions is about that, so we may want to wait for at least a little bit to list all of them.
That's true. I'm
sure
it'll
happen. There is kind of a recurring, I don't know if you call it a character, but it's like a guy who is balding and has a really big mouth.
Yeah, this like big angry bald guy with like his mouth permanently open, and usually he kills them somehow. It's great. Like,
that's kind of a terrifying visual if you think about it for longer than he's actually on screen.
He spits he usually spits arrows, but occasionally like birds, or in one case a wedding ring.
Oh shit, I just remembered another sound effect that really like, when I was going through these earlier, like the first time I really started to laugh out loud was in issue 2 where one of them dies by the dude, and it's just them getting hit with a big truck that just says "children" on it. Children. And in the following issue, one of my favorite sound effect bits is like, there's just this horde of possums coming towards what's her face, and he says, "Possums."
That really does kind of capture the looming horror of a group of possums coming to chew your flesh. The moments that I had earlier today when I was rewatching everything that made me just crack up in the middle of my workday was in issue number 5. Okay, so this is an episode where they go on spring break, and except for what's her face stays home because they forgot to invite her. They tried to invite her, but they forgot. I think.
Isn't that the one where her mom makes her work a job at the shirt folding store?
No, that one's the summer camp one. I keep getting those mixed up because they're basically they're a similar premise, and I like even before I started watching these, I got them two mixed up. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah. So the ugly one decides that she is too embarrassed to talk to the cool college boys on the beach and buries her head in the sand. And she has a thought bubble that says, "I hope nobody cool or famous is staring at me." And you zoom out and see George Washington, Abe Lincoln, and Henry Rollins standing there. And George Washington says, look at that girl."
I still think, like, after watching that episode today, can I say that when the two college guys go, "I miss video games, I miss my mom," those words have just become increasingly resonant ever since I've gone to university.
Damn.
Yeah. When I was in college, I think I had a little bit of time for video games. I think I played a lot of Guitar Hero 3 on my Wii, but that was about it. I watched my roommate play through BioShock 1. I think that was all of my video game experience when I was in college.
I was gonna say, one of the things that I noticed about Teen Girl Squad that it seems to be very good at doing is spawning probably some of the better recurring characters that they have on the whole, like any of the tunes on the website. Like they'll have. I mean, I'm not sure. Does Mrs. Commanderson count as a recurring character?
Does she show up in another thing? I swear. I
don't know. Let's find out.
Mrs.
Commanderson. She has 3 appearances, and one of them is not Teen Girl Squad. So yeah, she totally appears in the next episode, the Cheat Commandos episode, and not in an Easter egg either.
Oh, one thing I've noticed is like as like the series develops, the characters sort of like develop a voice. Like in the earlier episodes, everyone's supposed to be like Strong Bad doing a voice, but as it goes on, there's more like weirder voices and like completely disconnected voices. Like the four Gregs don't sound anything like Strong Bad.
No, they don't. It's kind of like how supposedly in like the Powered by the Cheat cartoons, the cheat is doing the voices.
That's true. Like in the Powered by the are the Gregs also Mike Chapman then, or are they Mike or Matt? Because I know that in the Powered by the Cheat, I can never remember which one does what, but the animating brother does the voices in Powered by the Cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike did the Powered by the Cheat voices, and Matt does all the other voices. And I think that the four Gregs are also Matt, because Mike's voice sounds pretty much the same regardless of what voice he's doing.
Yeah.
It's true. It's just like the I don't know, because even because the four Gregs, they got their own, like, this, like, speaking of spin-off characters earlier, they got their own one episode spin-off.
Yeah.
But do you know how early in the sort of timeline of Teen Girl Squad the four Gregs one actually happened?
I was actually looking up the dates. I think Four Gregs was towards the later point. Let me just
issue
check.
number 9.
Yeah.
Yep. And they were in there. That was the first mention of Sci-Fi Greg, and then in an Easter egg they introduced the three other Gregs. D&D Greg, Japanese Culture Greg, and
Open Source
the other
Greg.
One?
Open Source Greg.
Oh yeah, Open Source.
I just want to mention that Japanese Culture Greg is weird to me because it's clearly someone trying to make a joke about anime despite never watching anime in their life.
He just yells Japanese words occasionally.
Yeah, having been involved in a college anime club for a brief period of time, and by brief I mean like 2 years, I can say that there are anime fans who do that, where they'll just be, talking to you and randomly put in like Baka Desu.
Oh yeah, like when I was in high school and had that sort of group of friends, I had all sorts of people I know who would do, like, as that scene, like, I think it's in Four Gregs, where in the actual Four Gregs episode, where Open Source Greg torrents them some sugar daddies and hot dogs, and the Japanese Culture Greg responds, but it's just some 40-year-old Okasan with a with a shoebox full of ones. And I had plenty of friends in high school who would talk like exactly like that. They just insert random Japanese words and phrases like,
I love sushi. I love Japan, period. Garugamesh.
Oh my god. I completely forgot about that ad until now, so thank you for that.
Okay.
That had to have been like, what, 2000?
It was like
6 or 7?
2005 or 2006, I don't remember exactly. It was
do you
early
know what
YouTube.
we're talking about?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Dan, please.
Yeah, let me just pull up, I'll link it in the chat. It's called the Sakura-Con commercial 2009, huh?
Oh yeah, I guess it was more recent than I thought.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I think that makes sense. That
is in that rough era of early YouTube.
Yeah, when I started my Tumblr, I think. Yeah, so since we probably don't want to sit and watch this while we're recording, generally it's just a bunch of people sitting at a sushi bar saying Japanese things to each other. And then they all decide they want to go to this convention because they all love Japan so much.
Is it like specifically like, was it an anime convention or was it just like a Japan convention? Like, how was that?
Huh. I
think based on all the things that they were talking about, it has to have been just a Japanese culture convention because like they're talking about like J-Rock, for example, which I could see having a convention following.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have friends
we
even
we
now.
we know a number of people who listen to almost exclusively Japanese music.
Like I have people I know even like in the whitest city in the world that I live in, even like tons of people there who I know who still listen to like, well, I guess it's more Korean, but like the same sort of like, I guess, Asian culture enthusiasm that you get out of like something like that Sakura-Con commercial, or I don't know, does Japanese culture Greg stick exclusively to Japanese, or is he more of like a sort of the general, end up getting more general later on?
Specifically Japanese, but
I was just wondering if like the Brothers Chaps ran out of Japanese references at some point and just like started going to the well a little bit.
I think they used most of them on Stinko Man.
Yeah,
that's true.
They didn't really need another anime reference character, but they made one anyway.
I just think they needed just a different kind of nerd.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of kinds to go around. They could have had like Comics Greg.
I think Comics Greg could have worked.
Yeah.
The four Gregs are like. Also, we haven't talked about Tompkins yet.
Tompkins.
I feel like he's of even more indeterminate age than the Teen Girl Squad are.
Yeah.
Because
I think he's supposed to be about. Well, there's the one episode where they're like all in, preschool or daycare or whatever together.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it had to have been daycare because, like, a number of them were, like, I think still in diapers or something. And Tompkins is also there, and he's, like, half their height, and they make fun of him for being so short.
Why do you be so short?
I cannot speak to whether or not that episode is canonical, but...
The reason why it's so much more indeterminate though for me is because he's definitely drawn like he's younger than them and like behaves like he's younger than them, because he gets babysat by the ugly one, I think, or no, he gets he gets so and then the ugly one shows up later and the rest of them do. But like he also, there's a point where I think so and so has a crush on him in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
that is entirely possible. Like Cheerleader and so. I also, What's-Her-Face are really, like, boy crazy. Like, What's-Her-Face has the catchphrase, I think I have a chance with this guy.
Yeah. That was a song on the album.
Yeah, I think I have a chance with this guy. Hope I go to France with this guy.
You guys probably both have more experience with the Homestar Runner, F. Miria than I do, because I've never heard the Strong Bad Sings and other type hits or those sort of like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, do it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Side projects.
It was like this sort of like, it was just an album of like different songs. Some were like expanded off of older things. The whole thing started because of like this really old cartoon where that was a parody of album commercials, and like some of those are based on titles from that, and some of them are just like songs, like I said, songs that showed up in the tunes that were expanded upon further.
Yeah.
Isn't that where like the full length...
I'm vaguely remembering this now.
Yeah, that's where full-length Trogdor's from.
Alright, that makes sense then. Yeah, because I have not heard the I Think I Have a Chance with This Guy song, or at least if I have, I don't remember it.
Yeah, I think one of the songs on that CD, which got expanded from the original cartoon to a full, I guess, quote-unquote full-length song, was You've Got an Ugly and Stupid Butt.
Yeah.
You've got an ugly butt and a stupid butt.
Is that from like the one where there was like a really old Spee-mail where like they're talking about how dumb is Homestar's butt because his head is really dumb or something like that?
I think so.
Originally from the Strong Bad Sings tune. This is from 2000. We're going way back for this one.
Did Strong Bad have a bit more wrestle mask in his accent back then?
He did.
Yeah.
The songs, a couple of the songs off the list were, let's see, who is the guy that wins all the contests? What's the problem with your stupid face? I never said I wouldn't try to beat the crap out of you. Let's get started on doing all those awesome things I suggested.
I like that one.
This one time I saw Homestar punching a kitten in the throat. So, all the hits are there.
Yeah.
All the well-known Strong Bad songs.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because I know, the Teen Girl Squad is also one of the ones, because it's funny that we've gotten off on this sort of tangent, because Teen Girl Squad's one of the few, female, female spin-offs that doesn't really have much impact in, any of the other tunes, really.
Yeah, it is really sort of this own thing. It's just this thing Strong Bad makes.
Yeah. It crosses over occasionally.
Yeah, let me just look at the...
I guess Virus doesn't really count because everything crosses over with everything else in that Strong Bad email.
I'm looking at the other appearances thing in the wiki, and there really isn't a lot. It's mostly... I guess one of the most notable bits of crossover might be Death Metal, where they come up with Brain Krieg, who are just now a thing in Teen Girl Squad. They had a song written in one of the Halloween specials.
And that's the Decomposing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
It was the decoupage, right? Was that the one it was?
Yeah, when they just when they just growl words.
Get down with the decoupage.
I think that one was a tarantula one.
Oh, so get down with the trudge mank.
Oh, yeah, that was also a tarantula one. I gotta confess, I guess 12 or 13-year-old me was actually really unsettled by the weird meat animation that was in that one female.
Yeah, I think that was actually based on a real music video. I think that's a Tool video?
Yeah, it was. I think it was 46 and 2 by Tool, if I remember my being a massive fan of Tool in high school phase. I'm pretty sure that was the video that it was.
Yeah. Doesn't the guy from Tool own his own winery now, and he makes Tool wine?
And
that sounds like a thing that Tim Allen would drink. Sorry.
A complete sidetrack thing. I saw the guy from Tool, who obviously kind of sucks a lot. One of the things that he did recently was with his wine. Somebody asked if it was vegan. He said, "Oh, I just realized it was," and then went and there's a picture of him dipping bacon in the Tool wine. Because
cool.
He's very super very cool to own the vegans.
Yeah,
ruining some wine to own the vegans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making your wine taste like pork to own the vegans.
I love edgelords who are in their 50s because it's clear that they're just gonna be that forever.
God. Oh my God.
Maynard James Keenan is who we're talking about. I finally found his name.
Don't they all have 3? I'm pretty sure their bassist has a 3 names name as well.
I don't know.
He's I don't know. The thing is again, the guy from Tool is very much canceled for sexual assault allegations that happened earlier this year. So it's very good and to dunk on him. It's fine to do.
Love to hear it.
It's unfortunate to find out because, I don't know. That's the kind of the thing that I've realized though. Is that Tool's really only been influential in their visuals. I don't know if I've ever found a band that sounds like they really like the music of Tool.
Yeah, and that kind of brings up an interesting point about just the things that that influenced Homestar in general. It's really even now even though it's still technically being produced there's a lot of stuff in there that is of its time, which seems weird to say given that it was, only, 15 years ago?
A thing about Homestar Runner's references is not only are they of its time, they're of a time most people have forgotten and don't care about. That's part of what makes That's part of what makes it all so timeless. Just references to things nobody knows or cares about and have to look up. Just
Yeah.
I remember constantly feeling like a fake fan every time the Halloween episodes would come around, and I just didn't know what any of the costumes were.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I only ever knew probably like one per episode.
Yeah. Big same.
Like, oh, the king of town is Mario. That's cool, I guess. I've played a Mario before in my time.
Yeah. Mario Jump.
Fuck, dude, he sure does.
Mario sure is a video game.
Super Mario Baby. Super fucking Mario.
Like, in specific, like, I do want to come back to a question I asked at the beginning, which is wondering, like, how old they are, because it definitely, I don't know if you guys agree, but I've sort of come down to the idea that it's a sliding scale. Like, it just changes depending on where they need it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know they're at the very least in high school. Because, or...
They have a couple
they may either be in high school or in 8th grade, because there was... In the one where they walk up to the college guys on the beach, so-and-so goes, "We're in 8th grade!"
Oh, that does remind me of, like, a good bit that happens in a couple of these where, like, two characters will say something at the same time and it'll be very different. Like,
yeah.
In episode 11, they're canoeing and, like, cheerleader says, "Boys are an important part of life," while the ugly one says, "Canoes are an important part of life."
One of the things that, like, because it also brings up the question of how old is Strong Bad? Because, like, twice at least he hits on the characters he's drawn.
God,
Teen Girl Squad. I'm not
really
trying to be
weird,
like,
yeah.
Strong Bad is canceled. I'm just genuinely curious now. Because, like, in the first one, he tries to get a ride to Chex or Rallies or Sonic Burger from Cheerleader, and then a little while later he eats a piece of paper. Does Strong Bad vor the ugly one?
Yeah, he's first basing it with a piece of loose leaf.
A piece of loose leaf?
But yeah, it is really weird how... And also there's sometimes, like, other bit... It's really weird and confusing, and I think Strong Bad just exists in an ageless state, just...
Yeah.
I feel like they all do. Like, they're all just... It's kind of like the whole how old is SpongeBob question, where, you know, sometimes he's a child, sometimes he's an adult, like, you know, and sometimes, like, and it kind of, like, switches back and forth. I think it all plays by the same rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong Bad, for all of his immaturity and his really rabid, like, fandom of certain things, and just kind of his weird competitive streak kind of strikes me as, like, maybe a 15 or 16-year-old, which is weird to say because he sounds like he's gargling 1,000 frogs.
It's true. Like, he's definitely either that or he's, like, you know, those, like, very particular sort of, like, early to mid-20s guys who are still really into all the things they were into when they were 15 to 16 years old.
Yeah. You're the angry video game nerds of the world, the Chris Borses of the world, the Ernest Clines of the world, if you will.
Oh, God, that's a... That, was it Neil's, like, the second guy you mentioned, that was the one who was, like, a ripoff of the angry video game nerd,
if I remember.
The
gamer. His stuff is kind of fun to watch, and I'm only continuing this because he is kind of from that era. Where
it's true. He's definitely not of the same cloth, but, like...
Yeah.
He exists.
I could see Strong Bad having written Ready Player One.
If he did, though, it would have a lot more references to hair metal in it than it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, hair metal and even more getting the ladies.
There's a
Specifically, the ladies.
There's a bit in the film of Ready Player One where they just reference, what was it, The Shining, and it has nothing... It's just like an extended Shining parody, and it has almost nothing to do with the plot.
like that always just ends up reminding me of you remember the Control Alt Delete animated series? I don't know.
Oh my god!
And how like 3 episodes are an extended Star Wars reference where they just compress an entire episode into 10 minutes.
Yeah, and the best thing about those is just they are based on an extended thing about Jack Thompson and Hillary Clinton. They're just that weird period from the mid to late 2000s where gamers hated Hillary Clinton because she said something mean about video games one time.
Oh my god, I must have missed that, because
it was in Grand Theft Auto 4 too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never really got into the GTA games, but I could see how... I could absolutely see how there'd be, like, people who were really into it, and then, the bad mom of Hillary Clinton came to take our video games away.
America's Queen, Hillary Clinton.
I need to get a Verit code about exactly how to prove GTA 4 is bad for the youth. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it.
I feel like that's the thing. Is like Teen Girl Squad very much kind of represents the kind of comic I feel like teenage Ernest Cline would have drawn if he had have been like a comic artist.
Yeah.
It's very much like an unpopular boy writing a cartoon to get back at the girls who won't date him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good God.
I definitely was one of those teens who, like, drew a lot of, like, anime girls. Because, like, I had this idea in my head that clearly I could, like, draw something and then feel, like, emotionally fulfilled as if I were in a relationship. And I feel like Ernest Cline probably also fell into that category as a teen, but never really grew out of it. Is there, like, any specific Teen Girl Squad thing that, like, just comes up in your life over and over again?
I always... Every now and again I miss video games, I miss my mom stuck in my head.
It's really catchy. Like, they make it into a little song and an Easter egg at the end of that episode.
I miss video games. I miss my mom. I miss video games. I miss my mom.
I'll have to splice in a little bit of that right here.
No, I always get the like that. This is probably the one that I watched the most when I was like really, really into like the first like genuine like hardcore enjoyment of Homestar Runner when I was like watching it basically every day nonstop. This was probably the stuff that I rewatched the most. So I always have like stuff like this is my backing band, a shark, and stuff like that. Like like the or
my bass feels seaworthy.
I do definitely. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about things from Homestar Runner that have been burned into my vocabulary, and like most of them probably I just don't think about them, but ones that I definitely do every now and again are like saying a word that ends in ed as like ed, ending it with ed instead of d. And
oh yeah.
And another thing I definitely say all up bonds every once in a while.
The Teen Girl Squad specific thing that comes up a lot for me, and I don't know why, but it's when What's-Her-Face goes to the thrift store when all the others go to the mall, and she says, "These clothes smell like grandma's."
I find also I get like the bit where like the red shell comes out and kills so and so in I can't remember which comic it was or which issue rather, comes out and kills so and so, and it says pwned or however you say that, and like kind of like a stuttering voice. That one gets stuck in my head.
God.
And of course just the ow my ex.
I do remember when people like when I was playing, whatever online game in the mid-2000s would actually say that.
Owned?
Yeah, that was a thing.
It was. It was a thing around the same time as ZOMG.
That that does remind me of a thing. Someone retweeted earlier this Kevin Smith tweet from 2009 where he says, 10 years in, and we bone like we're cheating on each other with each other. A decade plus in her clit/brown/taint area still pones my dick.
Oh, God. Every time I hear that, it's like somebody's just peeling like an old wound back open again.
Yeah, peeling some old jorts back.
Jesus Christ.
We can't use any of this. I'm gonna have to edit all of this out.
Oh no.
No, we can't. I'm sorry, I can't subject anyone who listens to this to being reminded of that terrible Kevin Smith tweets. That's much more of a city girls make do kind of joke than it is a mistake.
I'll just add in cartoony sound effects.
A decade plus in her
Squeeze squash.
still pones my
Funkity.
Honestly, it's genuine. Like it's fine. Obviously, I'm just kidding. But like,
yeah.
God,
Make sure to throw in a Mario coin noise.
it still bones my bring.
Woohoo!
Oh God.
Still beat like.
Oh God, that's so good. 10 years in and we still wahoo like we're cheating on each other.
Okay, so
This is the worst fucking bit.
I was
that's
thinking,
2009, baby.
yeah.
It's
Sadly, I was thinking about Kevin Smith recently because I live nearby to the actual Eden Prairie Mall, which is part of the View Askew universe. It's the mall where Mallrats was filmed, and I think they reference it in Chasing Amy as well.
I didn't know.
So
that.
like every time I drive past there, I just have visions of jorts floating through my head.
honestly, the word jort, like, it doesn't sound like a real word when I hear it. Like, jorts...
It does kind of sound Homestar Runner-esque.
It sounds like the name of an alien, like... like, have you ever, like... I don't know, like...
Get out of here, jorts. Nobody likes your style.
Because there was a... I don't know if either of you have seen this, but there's a Mark Little bit where he talks about how Jort is like a TV show from the 80s. Like, it's like Alf, but instead of always eating the family cat, he just cuts all the legs off their jeans.
I have not heard this, but I'm going to have to look it up.
You'll have to link it to me later. This sounds interesting.
It's a good bit. I'll link it in the chat. I'll link it in the chat after the episode.
All right. Let's see. Oh, there is a thing when rewatching these that I forgot was in my head a lot, which was like in the Valentine's Day episode when so-and-so's death is just, she keeps trying to correct them about Valentine's, and then just this fork race car driver comes by and it's going, Tines.
That one was probably always that one's one of my favorites just because it's one of the least making sense type jokes that they do in like Teen Girl Squad, like even more so like because it's because even more so than like, I don't know. No, that probably goes to when like so and so or what's her face gets beaten by an alien with a bat for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that they have a name, but I forget what it is.
Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas.
What happened to her? She got hurt. Whereas the speech bubble says, Thomas hit her with a bat.
I always forget that they have that like discrepancy between the voice and the speech bubbles there.
Do you have anything else that you want to go over, or should we get into questions?
I would... There's something I feel could be mentioned and probably should be mentioned, but I don't want to mention. And I think we all know what it is.
I actually don't, but I'm concerned now to hear it.
The very unfortunate and bad joke of PCP.
Oh, yeah. That actually is one of the questions, so we can probably just go into that from there.
So, why don't we go into questions, I guess?
It sounds good.
All right.
Okay, I'm just going to pop down to it here. The Discord user, The Get Up Noise, that is Joe Davin, asks, wait, was that? Oh, no, I read the wrong one. Oh, no, it was. Sorry, I thought I was reading the wrong one for a second there. Says, less of a question and more of a comment, but PCP, huh?
Yeah. They really just wanted to make a joke about rap and did not think about what that meant or the implications or anything beyond let's make a joke about a rapper. And then they did
completely
it. And it was great.
It was taking the style out of context and adding absolutely no substance to it, or any sort of anything other than this guy kind of sounds funny.
Yeah. I mean that was the unfortunate part of the whole joke, is that he sounds funny, but the sounds funny is he talks in like mock Ebonics, which 100% they were not trying to be racist. I think that much is probably the case anyway, but they also still did the thing, and it's probably the worst character on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bubs is similarly kind of that type of accent, like because they were imitating the comedian Red Fox, who is also an African American guy. Mm-hmm. But I think PCP is a bit more of a contemporary reference.
Significantly
pretty
less
close to like Snoop Dogg, I would say, in kind of execution. Yeah,
the joke of Bubs, salesman, is significantly less attached to blackness than the joke of PCP, rapper.
Yeah,
that's true. PCP is very much one joke, and it is just rapper. Like, there's no other like, and like, I mean, although PCP has been involved in probably the funniest new sketch, it's never because, like, that being the fisheye lens.
Oh yeah,
it's never funny because it's never been funny because of him. I think it's always been, things with him have been funny in spite of PCP.
Yeah, just kind of the weird contrast between him and Coach Z, I think, was most of it.
That's true. I like, because he was in a Powered by the Cheat video with him and Marquis. They do Coach Z's it's just called Rap Song, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was he was very much an unfortunate character, and I feel like, have they used him in any of like the post hiatus episodes, or am I mistaken about when Fisheye Lens came out?
I think it was definitely a post hiatus. Oh shit! I keep forgetting to mention a specific post hiatus thing related, which is the Aquabat Super Show. Did you ever watch it when it was on the air?
Never saw it.
It was like this sort of like Sid and Marty Krofft inspired like show starring the ska band the Aquabats. It was like this project they had wanted to do basically since the 90s, and like in like the early 2010s the Hub Network was starting up, and it gave them a perfect opportunity to do that. It was really good. Matt Chapman was a writer on it, and I think like when people talk about Gravity Falls, they talk about how much Matt Chapman's influence can be seen in it, but like with the Aquabat Super Show, the influence is basically 1-to-1. Like there's a lot of like visual gags, there's a lot of regular gags, there's all these gags that feel like something that could happen in a Homestar Runner cartoon, and like it all fits in. But also like there is an episode towards the end of the first season where the villain is just Matt Chapman wearing a Strong Bad mask and a magician costume doing the Strong Bad voice. It's really good. I think they're... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I do remember seeing that, because I remember there being like a tweet. I think there's a tweet by the actual Strong Bad account where they do all of the Strong Bad emails from now. I remember him tweeting about it one time because they had posted a picture of it, and he was talking about how someone was ripping off his style.
Yeah.
Similarly to that, like kind of musical strong bad appearance, kind of closer to the real world. Sometime I want to say around when the video for Experimental Film by They Might Be Giants came out, there were a few appearances of strong bad and I think maybe Homestar puppets at They Might Be Giants shows. Like Matt Chapman showed up and did the performance at their shows.
I know in terms of he also made like puppets for Gravity Falls that were like used in like specific bits and vines and whatnot. He's pretty good at making puppets, it turns out.
No, yeah, because his Gravity Falls, I haven't seen the Aquabat Super Show, but if it's more Homestar Runnery than Gravity Falls, I can definitely see that being something that I enjoy. Because I don't even know if I've ever heard an Aquabat song, honestly.
I think it's on Netflix and Hulu. Let me just double check to see if it's still on Netflix. Also, they are like making like new shorts. There was like this Kickstarter that didn't quite succeed, but they made a second Kickstarter with a lower goal to just make short cartoons. Or short, like, videos for the Aquabats. Oh, no, it's not on Netflix anymore. It might be on Hulu, though. I'm not sure. Hell, they might even have them on the Aquabats channel. Like, I remember them uploading stuff there before. But, yeah, if you ever find the opportunity, please check out the Aquabats Super Show.
I'll definitely have to do that. I've never even heard the music of the Aquabats. Although I did tweet at them when I was starting this to see if they would let me use... I can't remember. I think you mentioned to me they have a song where they have Strong Bad in it, and that's the only one that I've heard.
Yeah, I think the song's called Pink Pants featuring Strong Bad and Homestar. Looks like they've just been uploading like full episodes to their YouTube channel.
Nice.
Yeah.
The only Aquabats fun fact that I know is that their original drummer was Travis Barker from Blink-182.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's great.
Like that was the band that he was in before Blink-182 was the Aquabats.
Wow. I know they do have like this whole rotating cast. Or like they've had a rotating cast over their history.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine Travis Barker in like an Aquabats costume. Like just from a visual sort of picturing it in my mind perspective.
I think you can see him on the cover of The Fury of the Aquabats, which I think was their debut album.
Yeah.
It's wild to think about.
Yeah. I don't think he was like completely covered head to toe in tattoos at that point yet.
That's true. He didn't quite look like Yellow Wolf at that point in his career.
Yeah, it would have been early 90s.
All right,
yeah, I think around 1995 or 6.
That makes sense. Geez, I'll have to try to find a picture of that now because that is intriguing to me. Anyways, I think we should I think we've exhausted that question there. They've got another question from Joe Davin who asks, which quadrant of the Homestuck romance matrix are all the members of the Teen Girl Squad on with one another and with the Gregs?
Okay.
So Dan, I think we established before recording that I know what this is, but that's about as far as it goes because I never got like super into Homestuck past like 2010 or so.
Yeah, I was super into Homestuck for a while, but dropped around 2011, which leaves me out of the loop of most of Homestuck stuff, but leaves me in the loop of what troll romance is. So there's like these 4 concepts just built around like card suits. Like there's like the hearts, there's the spades. They have these specific names and I can't quite remember them. But like the hearts, the spades, the diamonds, and the clubs. The hearts is just more of a standard romance thing. The spade is like the antithesis of that. It's like two people who like hate each other to the point of like this weird hate-love thing. There's the Morales. That one I remember. That's the diamond one. That's just like this very specific concept of friendship. And then there's the clubs one. I can't remember right now, but it was like two people opposed to each other, and one's like and one person moderates between the two.
I think that probably, if I had to guess based on my now completely just learned knowledge, that there's that kind of antagonistic relationship between What's-Her-Face and Cheerleader. Because Cheerleader doesn't ever want to like include What's-Her-Face in things, and What's-Her-Face is always kind of forced off by herself to do What's-Her-Face things.
Yeah.
Be attacked by possums or hit in the knees with a bat by an alien.
Yeah.
That's true. I think because I know that like because each of them have a corresponding Greg except Cheerleader. Because I know so and so dates open source Greg in the junior prom episode.
I'm not sure if you could really one-to-one equate them.
Not like a corresponding Greg in like personality, but do they all date a different Greg except Cheerleader?
Yeah, I don't think Cheerleader ever dates any of the Gregs. There was like a bit. No, she tends to go after boys who aren't Gregs.
She dates Cheerleader Brian, I know, in the
prom episode.
The prom episode, and in the Valentine's special times, she ends up basically every male character in the show except for Quarterback.
Yeah, Quarterback very specifically does not date Cheerleader. So-and-so dates Brett Brederson, who is her made-up boyfriend. And
then and eventually she made him up in the first grade. He's not real. But she does like... I think like both Brett, at some point she broke up somehow with Brett and is trying to date Tompkins. And then another time I think that's it. And I think at one point she goes after a Greg. I don't remember.
Because What's-Her-Face does date science fiction Greg in the episode where Cheerleader gets hit by a car, which is she gets specifically killed by crazy learner permits girl.
Yeah.
And they're all like, we're free. I can overachieve like a bandit. I can date science fiction Greg again.
I can stop showering.
I can be a teen girl.
Ain't no teen girl.
Oh, that's another thing that comes up all the time in conversation with my friends is we're free, we're ointment.
Is that old man? Does he count as a recurring character?
I think he's just in that episode.
Yeah,
I can't remember if he ever shows up again.
Oh, I think there's one more when she's What's-Her-Face is emptying out her locker. She's like,
that's right.
Old notes, old books, old person, and then he goes, "I'll leave you. I'll leave. I've left the check for last month's rent on the counter."
But what was it? Oh, right. The question was about troll romance. But like I said, I have no fucking clue because I know that much about troll romance, but I don't think too hard about it.
Oh, I think that's probably the healthiest amount to think about troll romance. So, I will say though, I think most of them, like honestly, most of the characters have like an antagonistic relationship with Cheerleader. She just essentially bullies them all the time because they're genuinely happy when Lerner's permanent girl kills her.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to get so dead. Next question is from Jules, who says, which teen girl is which horseman of the apocalypse?
I mean, the ugly one is Pestilence. Jot that down.
Yeah, that one goes without saying.
Through the ugly one, all pestilence is possible, so jot that down.
So I think cheerleader would be war.
Yeah, that feels right.
I feel like because war is the first one that shows up. Cheerleader's usually presented as like the leader of the teen girls, so that would make sense to me.
What's her face feels like famine. She just like a whole thing of her is like she's a bit like homelier and like implied to be poor. Maybe it's not clear, but I think what's her face is famine, and I guess that leaves so and so as death.
So and so is the horseman of shoplifting.
Shoplifting.
That actually is probably the most like Teen Girl Squad cellar door thing that I have is Strong Bet going shoplifting in that episode.
Yeah.
To the point where I like because I stopped watching Homestar for a while, like in between like grade 10 and like the first year of university. And that would constantly pop into my head with absolutely no context. It would just be Strong Bad going, shoplifting.
The way you said that kind of sounded more like Marshy.
Oh god, yeah, I can't do a Strong Bad voice, and
it's fine.
Shoplifting.
God, Marshy is terrifying.
I guess that covers that question, unless we want to discuss it further.
I think all of those make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, next question is from James Mason, who asks, favorite Teen Girl Squad short, including the...
Oh yeah, those things. I did play through that game a lot when I was in like middle school or high school. I guess it would have been late middle school, early high school, but like I definitely played them a bunch, and like they're just like these weird puzzle things where you have to like figure out different ways to kill off the teen girls, and like you as you go through the main game, you can like find extra death cards hidden away. It's sort of like this weird like sequential puzzle thing where you just have to figure out the optimal death for each one. I don't remember the actual contents though.
I think we can probably just go with the main Teen Girl Squad shorts.
Yeah. I think my personal favorite is probably like... I feel like... Shit, I can't decide. I feel like it would be either... it would either be Valentine's or possibly the issue 11, the summer camp.
I feel like probably my favorite would be Teeny Tiny Girl Squad.
Yeah, that's a very solid one.
Because I'm a big fan of the what do you girls think about my very own chocolate bar that she's dipped in salt.
Yeah. It's mine. It's 100. Shut it off.
That's another one.
Oh shit! Well, I'm gonna bring that up later since there is a specific question about favorite death.
Yeah. My favorite issue is probably the one with the Battle of the Bands where they form the band Kissy Boots. And What's-Her-Face gets stuck playing bass. The ugly one is on drums, Cheerleader's on guitar, so-and-so is on keyboard, and goes with the goth, gloomy keyboardist look.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention, like, when I was rewatching this, I finally realized that Fatty's Big Chance is a ska joke.
Yeah, because
Pick it up.
He's got the saxophone and
like, the checkered pants.
Yeah. Pick it up. Hup, hup.
He says ska phrases.
Yep.
I will say that it's probably not quite my favorite as an overall episode, but the song from episode 9 when they show the kindler, gentler squad of teen girls is also like, if that was its own episode, it would probably be my favorite just because of the BFF carved in a tree that stands for bang boom. Like that. It's a very good episode.
Watching that one over again today, I realized I'd forgotten about the part where a Porta-John came to life and
put on a
play with so-and-so.
Sadly, they didn't get very good reviews. That's
Yeah, I remember the part about staple sauce, but I didn't remember the Porta-John coming to life.
and that was like because like the what's her face ate staple sauce was it because and that and the what by the way, where is Babbage's because that's at the end of the song where he goes,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
at the end of the
crazy
song.
learner permits girl gave me a ride to Babbage.
Babbage's.
Like what is Babbage's a real place, or is that
It's
just
a
like
real place, or it was. It's I don't remember if I ever went to one. I was very young when it was still a thing, but it was this old electronics store that went out of business in the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, I think they got swallowed up by GameStop.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The same as Funkoland and Electronics Boutique did in the U.S.
Yeah,
I think Canada still has EB Games, but
Yeah.
we still have, well, actually, they changed now to EBX because now
Oh,
they
really?
sell. Yeah, because in Canada now they sell all your nerd culture needs, like plushies of
interesting.
Mario and all the
Funko
Funko
Pops.
Pops. Yeah, all the Funko Pops you could possibly ever desire just line the
Yeah,
walls of these
there-
places.
there was briefly an EBX in the Mall of America here in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and this would have been probably around 2002 or 3. So like obviously Funko Pops weren't a thing yet, but mostly what they sold there was like shareware copies of games that were like maybe 6 or 7 years old.
Huh.
They sold like they were like boxed diskette copies of shareware PC games.
And like EB Games prior to like because I think EB Games and GameStop are like different names but merged in Canada as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
prior to them getting merged, EB Games used to be like genuinely extremely sketchy, whereas like GameStop was like the upscale, like so does like as
Sure.
far as that goes, like games retailer. Like you like EB Games would carry like the sort of weird bootleg games and stuff for like the older back when making bootleg games was still like a viable business model.
Huh.
Yeah.
You're not getting a $7,000 for the PS4 now.
Oh yeah. That does fucking remind me though. Like a month or two back, I was at the mall over here, and there was like a kiosk selling bootleg NES classics with stuff like $7,000 dead on them.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, those pop up every once in a while. In any mall that still exists, you'll see a kiosk eventually for some 150 games in one system on a chip.
Oh yeah, honestly like those are still like a delight to play. Like those, like weird weird, definitely illegal systems that just like steal tons of other other games. Like obviously they're ethically bad, but like just their existence has always fascinated me, and like the weird stuff you can get on them.
You might be interested in looking up Dendy Chronicles. It was this series that was by this guy named Kinaman on YouTube who he was like going through all of these different bootleg games, and he himself was like a kid who had grown up playing them in post-Soviet Russia. It was really interesting to look at.
Oh, Bob,
Nice.
do you have me like the name or something afterwards so I remember? Because that's something I definitely want to check out.
Yeah, I'll link it to you.
So, Breakfast, that is Jordan of the show, Jordan Canning, asks, my question is, what are your favorite Teen Girl Squad deaths?
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah.
So my favorite one has to be issue 7, Teeny Tiny Girl Squad, which is Tompkins' death, which is he died somehow. It just
Torso takes silver.
That was a good joke. For my favorite one, I'd probably have to go with just the staple sauce death from the song at the end of issue 9. That's probably my favorite one. Either that or when Ugly One gets dangled over a hotel balcony and then she seems upset that it's not more violent, and then dropped off of said hotel balcony
to a bayonet tailgate party.
Yeah.
At first, I was thinking maybe when they got 3 spring rolls and got MSG'd, but I think mine is probably from the end of Teeny Tiny Girl Squad, where they're all standing together going, "Look at how much we've grown!" And then it zooms out and they're just falling directly into the arrowed guy's mouth.
God. Oh shit, we forgot to mention that how Teen Girl Squad has like these really weird transition scenes where it's like it'll bring up the text but it's in like a man's mouth or on someone's back.
Oh yeah, like it'll be like sunscreened into someone's back, like on the beach episode.
Yeah.
Just kind of like really, kind of more intricate than the rest of the comic. Kind of gross drawings, sort of Ren and Stimpy style.
Yeah.
Like they do that when there's one in the For Greg's episode even where they zoom in really close on his mouth when he says halftime, and it's like drawn really disgusting, like genuinely uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah.
We got 2 more questions here. First, the 2 being Alex Leafcrunch asks, which quadrant on the political compass are each of the Teen Girl Squad?
I don't think you could divvy them up into each of the 4 quadrants, but let's see. What's your face? What? Go ahead.
So I was going to say cheerleader's authoritarian right.
Yeah. What's her face is a crust punk, so libertarian left.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So and so is a lib. So and so is with her.
Yeah, so and so is like if I had to if like we have to split them all up into 4, I'd put so and so top left.
Yeah.
But she's definitely
Which
not
leaves the bottom right for the ugly one.
That's
for libertarian right.
Absolutely not.
Like, I mean, you're right though. Like that, she's like so and so is definitely a lib. It's just like if I had to pick one of the 4 quadrants to put them each in, that would be my lineup anyway.
I would say that the ugly one is just sort of an anomaly, and I would say, I don't think she knows what politics are.
Ugly one is either like an egoist or like a primitive anarchist, like the anarcho-primitivist thing.
Oh sure.
Either way, like the ugly one exists like to the left of the whole political spectrum, just off to the side.
If it's on a sheet of paper, she's like on the wall that's 5 feet away.
Yeah, just not concerned. Like the ugly one is like some sort of like avatar of Nyarlathotep and like has no concern for human politics.
Man, if I ever run into the ugly one in my next Arkham Horror game, I'll know why.
Yeah.
You get Wait, Arkham Horror like at the tabletop or Arkham Horror like a Batman game?
No, the board game.
Okay. And one last question here from, was it Alex? Sorry, I don't know because I only see their username, but like for
is this the one from Sarah? Sarah Kazmimer?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't recognize the avatar at first, and it's just all barbling.
Yeah, that's Sarah Kazmimer. Not to be confused with Sarah Tiger Girl Fat Pussy.
Sarah Kazmimer,
friend of the show.
Sarah Kazmimer asks, I'm assuming the Teen Girl Squad is just like Totally Spies, though, so my question would be, who would win in a fight between Teen Girl Squad and the Totally Spies?
I'm regrettably going to have to give this to the Totally Spies. I don't really... I need to listen to more of Totally Reprise, but as far as I can tell, the Totally Spies are less likely to die and probably more likely to survive, just by nature. However, if the Totally Spies were in Strong Bad's world, they'd be dead.
Yeah, that's
They would be dead within 5 minutes.
It's really, really location-based, like, where this, like, is this... all Fox, no items, Final Destination kind of fight, or is like one of them got like the environmental type advantage? Because like the Teen Girl Squad are designed to die, so they'd be the obvious ones to lose in this one. But yeah, like you said, if they're in Strong Bad's world, it depends on who he would become frustrated with more first.
Yeah, he could just like, Bugs Bunny Duck Amuck style erase them all out of existence.
I think it's trick question. They would I think it's a trick question. They would befriend each other and overthrow Strong Bad to take control of their own lives.
Interesting. I like that idea. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think they would join? The Strong Badia defense force?
I mean, the Totally Spies are cops, so they would join the municipality.
Yeah.
You're probably right about that.
I don't know. It's an interesting question because, sorry, Sarah, but they're not like the Totally Spies really beyond the fact that they are both teen girls. So it's kind of a difficult comparison to make because like the Teen Girl Squad characters are just regular teenagers. So I think, in all honesty, they'd probably lose this bout.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you get Manolios Ugly One in there, then
got them
that's when the tables get turned.
Yeah. He got you like sheep.
Yeah, Manolius Ugly One with his what is it? His I don't know how stands work, so I'm actually not going to make this joke. It's going to say his stand got you like sheep, but I don't know if that's how stands work.
He's got a price on broken VCR, smashed tape, or something like that.
I love Manolius Ugly One as my favorite. Like probably my favorite character, like from the whole thing, just from the. You think you're so great, Mr. Captain of the basketball force? You touch my daughter, I got you like sheep. You do this, I got you like sheep, and this guy looks like when it cuts to the sheep, it's not so bad.
All right, is that all the questions that we have?
That's all the questions that we've got here, I think.
Yep.
So those are the ones I've got recorded now.
Well, Dan, it's been a pleasure to have you on, Dan Mike Dawson. I especially liked hearing your specific story about how you got into Homestar. We should do that with more of our guests.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That would work well as like a nice little opening segment to kind of ease in every episode for sure. We've just closed it out with the plugs here. So anything you want to plug, where can people find you there?
You can find me at Mike_Dawson with a 0 on Twitter. You can find me at Mike Dawson with a 0, no underscore on Tumblr. You can find my comedy blog at Xbox_Holiday. You can listen to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast that I'm on called Pod of Greed, which can be reached either by podofgreed.tumblr.com or at podofgreedcast on Twitter. Send us questions, we're eager. You can also I just want it unrelated, but I do want to plug 6 Feet Under, which is an actual play podcast I really like. That has nothing to do with me. I just like it and want to get the word out.
I'm David. You can find me on such podcasts as The Stick, and currently just The Stick, though hopefully that'll be changing soon once I have a little bit more time to get my other show started.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention. I also have a comedy blog at Xbox_Holiday where Usher celebrates holidays with Xbox. Most recent one is December 6th, Happy the Game Awards Xbox. Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No problem. My Twitter is at Daves, DAVVVES. My Tumblr, for how much longer that's going to last, we'll see, is at Davd, DAVVVD. And I think that's it for where you can find me. I think I deleted my MySpace. I'll have to go check on that.
My name's Eden. You can find me also on the podcast Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, also on the Noise Space Network. And my Twitter is at TP_Albuquerque. And seeing as I never use my Tumblr and that site's kind of going down the tubes anyway, that's it. That's the only place you can find me.
And of course, we should thank the person who made the art for the show, Summer Geist.
Thanks, Summer.
Thank you to the composer of our theme music. They are Hyper Chicken on SoundCloud with the song "Always Beezing and Doozing," which is basically just a remix of a particular scene from one of the more recent episodes. I don't think it was a Strong Bad Email. I think it was just a regular tune, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's a perfect theme for this show in particular. So I'm glad that you found that.
It was complete chance, and I'm glad that I ended up having it show up on my my feed there.
So we don't really have a sign off line yet. We're hoping to just come across one naturally, but I always like to give a quick no probalo at the end.
All right, folks, you want to try see if we can all get it together on 3 then?
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3. No
Probalo.
All right, that was good.
All right.
That was good.
Thanks, guys.